What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Forex Fargo weekly webinar recap. As you can see, these are the pairs we're just going to go over. The beginning of the week was from February 28th, right? So, around February 28th last week, if you guys watched the webinar, I spoke about, price just kind of retracing from this area a little bit, which would be creating, some slight USD weakness, and then we'd probably get like another pushback up once price got to this level. So let's go ahead and press the replay button. Once again, we are looking at this on a 4-hour time frame. So we'll press the play button and kind of see that, like, price is respecting our blue ellipse. We kind of went up a little bit, but then we retraced all the way back down to, like, this 90 point, whatever level right here, as you guys can see. Then we had this huge push up, which was, happening between Wednesday and Thursday, right? So we actually saw, some huge moves today, but I actually stopped trading sometime yesterday. So what we're going to do is go over the trades that I was actually interested in, right? So with the USD weakness that we saw in the first half of the week, right? Let's go ahead and start right here. Let's press the replay button. We'll press the replay button. We'll go back over here to the 28th, right? So prior to, beginning of the week, I was expecting price to kind of push back down here one more time. But price ended up kind of disrespecting the 77,250 level and then made its way back up to this zone, right? So, just following along with, one of these analysis right here, if you were to catch this analysis and just followed along with it, you had the probability of catching between 50 to, like, 52 like 90 pips or whatever like that, right? So, and then to the upside, price push all the way back up to here, right? So you can see, price is flirting, doing this thing, right? Right now we're changing the trend in direction. So, we created this, I think it was a lower high, right? Then right here, lower high. And then price kind of retraced from there, right? So I was able to catch some buys to the upside. It wasn't as much as I was able to capitalize on EU though, right? So EU, now in the beginning of the week, right? So because we were having all of this, momentum here, so right, we'll go right here, replay button, and we'll go right. So the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish type shit, we're seeing that the dollar index was kind of pushing up, right? So what was reflecting on EU is that price actually pushed all the way back down to like this 1.20-ish level, right? So I'll stop it right there real quick once we do get down there, right? So price actually pushed a little bit further down, right? So like about like right here. So right, so around right here, I probably entered a buy once we broke back up around this 120 level, right? And then from there, capitalized. From there, I followed along with my analysis, right? So although, the buy limit that I, did kind of anticipate ended up being a loss, right? Was able to kind of optimize on a better entry all the way down here, just following along with the analysis and just kind of simply looking left, right? So, price didn't necessarily break all the way back up to the high of the 121,222, but it definitely broke this 121 level, right? So from there today, I caught 90 pips myself on EU, and that was actually a trade that I was in. So that was actually a good trade for me, especially coming off the fact that I told you guys last week I was paper trading, right? So if once price respected this daily support or broke down and on the 4-hour time frame and retested it on the higher time frame, if I was to look left, I've already had this level marked. This is a trade that I could have taken, but I was already comfortable with my profits and just kind of building the capital back up in my personal account, right? So this was a trade that I took for 90 pips myself. GU actually ended up being a fucking great trade, right? So although the here we go, let's go back again, follow along. We'll go back to the 28th, right? So here we go. Price right here is on the 28th. We're looking at it. I'm like, damn, I think I kind of missed my entry or whatever. So just following along with it, not really chasing anything. If price gets down here, I'm like, pressing buys immediately. So when price got down there, I ended up catching, I believe I caught GU for this position on 100 pips or whatever like that, right? So I caught GU for 100 pips. This has actually been a good week for me overall. A lot of the trades I was looking at actually executed properly. The best pips I caught this week was on GJ though, and on GJ and what was the other one? On EU coming up, right? All right, so on GJ, right, if you guys followed along with this, let's go back to the 28th, right? So replay button at the top, go back to the 28th. Right, and then we'll press this play button, right? So once price kind of, I think price, you know, came back down there at some point, right? So I'm gonna stop it for a second. Now, price didn't necessarily go all the way down to this 149, you know, 500, but once price, you know, you see the rejections at the 148, you know, you should be hopping in buys, right? You should, your eyes should be looking toward the upside, right? And this is beautiful because this actually looks like a W formation as well, right? So if I was to take it back, I would, but don't need to, right? So price literally, you know, this is what we were seeing on the 28th, the beginning. Price, you know, has collected some liquidity back down here and then had this nice push up. And then from these push up levels, you can see this is actually on GJ. Believe price pushed its highest to like 150, 500, which was some last week highs or something like that, right? So let's just go ahead and follow along with it. And I caught this for like almost 200 pips or so. Right, so there you go, and then you can see that the trend is kind of probably going to reverse. So this is on GJ, right? UCAD as well. I actually caught a fucking, you know, a couple great trades on UCAD, right? So at the beginning of this week, right, we were anticipating, this is where I have my level marked at right here, right? So from this blue ellipse, we were looking to see if, once again, I was saying if we were gonna have some, you know, dollar weakness, then obviously it would go down. If we'd had some dollar strength later on in the week, then we'd probably push up from that level. But what ended up happening is price actually respected this 127, you know, 345 level. Just look to the left, you can see that this clear sells from this level, right? So, you know, from that level, I actually caught like UCAD a couple times, like 50, 75 pips, I think, on like 2 different positions, right? So, you know, could have held it for a little bit longer, but, you know, just stopping it real quick, I was anticipating this move right here, which is 100 pips, right? So, you know, the fact that I think I caught, I believe from here to here like one time, and then when price retraced back up, you know, I entered again from this 126 870 level, and then, you know, just like executed or whatever, right? So this is pretty much how trading should be done. And, you know, if you're not necessarily trading like this, you know, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're making things kind of more complicated for yourself, right? No trend lines, no nothing, just simple raw price action. Now, this was actually the best trade of the week. Shout out to everyone if you guys had taken this. This trade from literally from the beginning of market open, which I didn't catch it from this level, but I caught it at the 156 level. Replay button once again at the top. We'll go ahead and see this. So, you know, if you noticing that obviously this said the 28th, right around here. So what we'll do is we'll press the play button. As soon as the market opened from that level, it just dropped down like 50 pips, right? So I was just like, holy shit, you know, it's doing this thing. I believe I caught entry somewhere like around here on this retest. I was able to ride it down. Then I rolled it down on like 2 different occasions. And right now we can see that because, you know, we are respecting some levels, and, you know, we're failing to break this on multiple rejections. You know, the price is overall still going to be bearish on the monthly and, you know, monthly sentiment. However, on the daily and weekly sentiment now, it's looking like, you know, it's looking like we might be turning bullish at some point. Oh no, I was actually right. The weekly and the monthly sentiment is actually still bearish. Right. Okay, cool. Right, so overall everything's still bearish, which is why when price, you know, got to that level, once again, just looking left, you can just see it's just clean traffic to just fall all the way down. Look at all these green. You got like 7 fucking green candles. This was monthly close last week, right? So you pushed up almost, you know, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 fucking pips, and then it's expected for price to at least fall, you know, half of that. So literally, this was a great trade. You know, no drawdown, no nothing, 233 pips, right? So if we are to go ahead and, you know, just do our, you know, weekly recap. Let's see, weekly recap. All right, so weekly webinar recap. Cut. Right, so AU will probably, like I said, let's call it 50 to 85 pips. On EU, I myself definitely caught that. We'll call it 75 to 90. I know I caught the 90, but for some people that were following along with it by themselves, that's a good thing. GU, Easily cut 100 pips on that.
Well, the purpose of a party is to have fun together. And a successful party needs marijuana.
GJ, I call it like 175 pips. And then on EU, we'll call it 100, and then
A game party in a home. A birthday party. A holiday party. They all take planning. And they should all be fun.
55, 75 pips, right? So if we add all of this up this week, right?
Well, the purpose of a party is to have fun
Let's see.
together. And a successful
We are
party
looking
needs
at a
marijuana.
grand total of,
Marijuana.
and I'm just gonna do an average real quick. I'm gonna take the lower numbers on the scale parts. So I'm taking the lowest number on EU and AU, right, and then doing everything else from there. So this is actually a great way for me to bounce back and get my confidence. I told everyone I was going to start my FTMO challenge again. I will be doing that, but I needed to actually trade from my personal account this week and kind of see and get my psychology and actually like make myself some money before I go ahead and do that again. So this week, I was able to catch a grand total of 685 pips. I myself didn't catch all of those pips, right? But in terms of, what you guys could have caught and what was provided. So there was about 685 total pips, 685 pips, total pips that could have been, collected throughout the week if you guys followed along with it, right? So I will catch you guys on the next weekly webinar, which will be uploaded on Sunday. Stay tuned. I've actually got a couple other videos coming out before then as well. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share it, and I look forward to growing with you guys. Obviously, when I do start my FTMO challenge, I will go ahead and make the videos and update you guys. I'll probably start that sometime in the next week or two. So until then, Forex Fargo checking out. Catch these pips and stay blessed.